Aloha everyone. I'm going to try to keep this video short, but I don't think I can do it. But anyway, here we go. The market is putting in one of those amazing bounces where you just don't consolidate properly or even have a red day. You just do that straight 6 straight days down, 6 straight days up kind of thing that this market loves to do, but on a way more extreme kind of level right now. I just want to let everybody know that we had our follow through day yesterday. I respect it, always obey it, but I know historically 3 out of 4 fail. The 1 out of 4 that succeed are set up a little differently than we have now. Normally you have a red day in between the start of the rally attempt and your follow through day. Normally that's on lower volume, and or if you don't, you got charts, stocks, individual stocks with nice chart patterns leading ahead of this move, breaking out ahead of the market. Since we just came down from all-time highs, that wasn't going to be the case, so it had to be up to this market. So far, it's leaving a lot to the imagination. The S&P 500, the bounce continues to be on below average volume. The NASDAQ, the bounce continues to be on below average volume after the heavy volume sell-off. It doesn't mean we can't continue to go higher, but the big problem is that this is just all very dead cat bounce-ish. I've seen tons of these now throughout my trading career, and I've studied tons more historically, and it's just not an overall good setup. So what can happen here? We can continue to rally and go to new highs, and if that's the case, I'm going to be very glad that I take all these little long signals that aren't that great, and or we're going to have to back and fill, maybe test the recent lows before actually going higher. If anything, I would think that this is sell the rips, do not buy the dips kind of tape. So we'll see what happens, but like I said, if we end up going to straight up to new highs, I won't be surprised. I have an open mind to everything. So with that, let me get to the new long positions. But first off, yesterday, I didn't have any new long positions, but I added to MRTN because it looked like this, that bullish candle over candle, all that max green bop. I bought back SMPL because I haven't had this stock. I've been tracking it forever. Figured this was the best area to buy it back with a clear support level right there. And then I also... what was the other one I did? I gotta flip it over, or I gotta find my piece of paper. This is why this video is gonna be long. USAT, duh. I bought back USAT, and why I bought it back, even though BOP fell from the previous session, you can see this green BOP bar is heavier than that previous low test bar. So I have positive divergence in my internal indicators with confirmation in volume and price. So far it's worked out today, but BOP is still going in the wrong direction, so that's not good. And like I said, I think this is a dead cat bounce. So we will see. MRTN at the same end also lost its max green BOP. SMPL is fine for now, but once again, MRTN going to be raising the stops to either today or yesterday's low a day, half or third. Not quite sure yet. And USAT, there is still that only stop at 825. But I took those positions over, hold on, let me go ahead and do this really quick, GTXI and MOD. I passed on MOD and GTXI because the recent pattern is kind of choppy, sloppy overall compared to the previous uptrend, but everything is. But the main reason why was because BOP is going the wrong way. And it didn't close near its highs. So that's why I passed on MOD. GTXI I passed on because BOP not only fell lower, but it fell lower than the previous low bar, whereas USAT did not do that. So that took precedence, in my opinion, over GTXI. Now, let's get to the new long signals today. GTXI zooms higher. Heavier volume, heavier BOP. I don't want to chase those, so I still want to use yesterday's high day as my limit order at 14.99, and I will just have the first cut loss 13.86, a move below today's low a day, and my final cut loss will be, let me move that cursor out of the way, right there below 13.14 at 13.13. But basically, bullish candle over candle, hammer candle over candle, and a big volume explosion with BOP explosion. But that being said, once again, charts wide and loose. See how wide and loose it is compared to the price action on that previous uptrend. So it's pretty sloppy here. So I wouldn't really reduce size. Normally this would be a 2% long signal since it's perfect speculator. Excuse me. But because everything is not perfect, I have to reduce that in half, so it'll be 1% of my account capital. Now, the other new long position that'll be 1% of my account capital, DENN. DENN is an earnings winner. It's a pretty clear-cut, positive confirmation support test from the previous session. I guess I was looking for the word successful there. Holy moly. Ugh. But when I get long, limit order, 1516. Don't need, you can use 1517 if you want to, but it's extended from all the major moving averages. Except for the 20. I did not realize it was touching the 20. So you can use 1517. It's not extended from the 20-day moving average. I automatically assumed it was. Very interesting. So 1517, limit order. First cut loss level, first one, a move below today's low, 1483. That's it. I'm out of half. The next one, gap fill of the previous session before the earnings gap up of 1459. It hits that, I'll be all out. 1% of my account capital in DEN. Why don't I love this chart pattern? Doesn't have huge volume today. Doesn't have a huge BOP surge. And in fact, the earnings when BOP surge wasn't that great either. But that's a lot of positive BOP with really good price action. No distribution. So it's a pretty clean chart pattern, just like GTXI. There's really no distribution. There's a ton of accumulation. A lot of strong positive BOP. So that's a, thumbs up on those overall. Now the other long position, QDEL, QDEL. This is Can Slim quality and Perfect Speculator scan quality. It was also in my tertiary scan. However, I'm not even going to put 1% of my account capital into it because it has earnings next week. My thesis is that I believe it's completely washed out following the earnings report back here. And the mere fact that it hasn't been running into earnings, like in a V-shaped formation, like ANET, this silly software. ANET ran into earnings. It had earnings this evening. It's gapping down last time I checked 15%. QDEL is still consolidating overall. It's not running into earnings. I feel like it's washed out. Since it's canceling perfect speculator quality, it's right at the 50-day moving average. Slightly higher BOP after a whole bunch of positive BOP on heavier volume. Want to get long, QDEL, limit order 4510, first cut loss level. You could use today's low a day, you could use the previous couple of sessions, but my first cut loss level for now will be at 43, my final one 41.49. But like I said, not even 1% of my account capital. And then I have two low price speculative perfect speculator scan quality long signals, SMTX, STKS. STKS I tried before. Didn't make it. This time we've got back-to-back pocket pivot point signals off the 50-day moving average. Figure my first cut loss level is the recent lows at 225, and then I get all out either with the move below here or 216. It's worth giving it a shot with the overall strong pattern, especially the way that it held up while the market was selling off. So I want to get long STKS 234, 225, 216 will be my stops. Only 0.5% of my account capital. Please, everyone, do not even consider this as a trade. Consider this as informational purposes only, and that I am a madman with a larger sized account, cheap commissions. I believe in the reward risk ratio here. Let's say it does work. Let's say I get any part of this previous measure move of 76%. What do I risk if I'm wrong? 6%, that's over 10-to-1 reward risk ratio, everyone. I got to at least give it a shot, especially since the market is trending up, and I don't know if we continue to V-ramp or not, so I got to do it. I won't risk much long. Now, if it gaps down huge, oh my God, but that's why I'm taking a small position. So either way, my max pain level should be within range, even if it does decide to gap down, which I doubt it does. And then that takes me to SMTX, same similar situation. Huge volume surge. The previous session, another big volume surge. So the 2-day combined price action, very, very bullish. At the lows, 209. At the highs, 218. Huge volume, pocket pivot point signal, and BOP going from red to max green. Now still kind of a risky trade overall, so got to keep it small, 0.5%. This is a perfect speculator scan name. Limit order 218. First cut loss level. You can make, for me, it's today's low a day, 212. So if it hits 213 or if it hits 212, I'll be out of half. Your final cut loss could be 208. But for now, for me, it's going to be right there, 203. But those are the new long positions. I went over yesterday's long signals explaining why USAT was a long over GTXI and MOD. Showed you MRT and S&PL, so we're good. Was going to go over the 50% sell signals, but they're all the exact same. Heavier value moves below the 20-day moving average. They're all pretty clear cut. KMPH, SOXS, REW, SQQQ. All right, everyone. For now, it's a dead cat bounce until it isn't. The only thing is that I have a friend, that I had that conversation with right at the tippy tip top. He, of course, did say that was quite amazing call on my end. I reminded him it's not a call. It was just being prudent in my historical analysis. But he just texted me saying, hey, let's talk about this dead cat bounce. That's amazing if he's already got a professional level understanding of the stock market, and or if this really is going to become more than a dead cat bounce. If that's the case, these charts are going to have to get much more green. Even the ones that I'm watching that are setting up in perfect speculator name DZSI, nice price action. Volume is correct, but where's BOP going? I don't like that at all. I don't know why it wants to do that. And CIFS, Cancelim quality stock, nice consolidation pattern, like where volume's going, but BOP first off couldn't get back here to those previous levels, and where's it going? So we'll see. These charts have a lot of work to do.